Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 10 collections that I've used in almost all of my journals. Some of them have been modified, but overall these are layouts I've used time and time again, and I love them so much, so I wanted to share them here with you. Let's jump right in. So before we jump into the collections, I want to take a minute to talk about what exactly collections are, because it can be a little bit confusing. There's collections, there's layouts, there's spreads. What does all of that mean? So layouts and spreads are basically just the pages you're using in your journal. A collection is just a group or a series of layouts that kind of work together to help you plan a specific area of your life. So for example, if you want to get your finances under control, your collections might include a budget, a debt tracker, a spending log, things like that. That would be classified as a collection. So in this video, I'm sharing my 10 favorite collections. These are the things that have helped me organize the different aspects of my life. This stuff can then get translated into my monthly and weekly layouts wherever it makes sense. There are so many different types of collections. The possibilities truly are endless, but the collections are my favorite part of the journal because they make it unique to you and to what you need to plan for your life. I hope this video will give you some ideas and inspiration. Let's take a look at my top 10 picks. So the first layout is my cleaning tracker, and actually this is the first cleaning tracker I ever created when I started my journal like 4 years ago, and it's a tracker I've used time and time again. This is honestly one of my favorite spreads because it gives me a snapshot of what areas I've cleaned in my house last so that I can focus on areas that I haven't touched in a while. The layout is quite long, as you can see, so you have to do it lengthways in your journal, and then I just rotate it when I'm filling it out. Of course, I have my header along the top, and then I also have the days of the month going along the top. Down the side, I have broken down all the different rooms in my house, and underneath each header, I've included what tasks in each room need to be done. So for example, in the living room, I have dusting, vacuuming, tidying up, things like that. Where in a bathroom, I'll have cleaning toilets, cleaning the bathtub, things like that. So it really just breaks down the specific tasks in each room so that I can make sure I'm hitting those touch points. The second spread is probably one of my favorites. I just started doing it this year, but I'm obsessed with it, and it is something I'm going to be sharing in my goal setting workshop coming up in the new year, and it's my big 3, small 3 layout. So on the left hand side of the page, we have our header, and I just have a little reminder here for what a SMART goal is. I just like to have that there so when I'm writing out my goals, I make sure that I am thinking about them or writing them in a way that is SMART. Below that, I have the big 3 goals outlined. So these are my big 3, my top 3 goals I want to focus on for the year. And below that, I have my small 3 goals, and those are smaller goals that I can kind of manage with the use of collections and just kind of working them into my daily routine. On the right hand side, I have a spread layout where I have all 12 of the months. And under each month, I can write down what my mini goals for each of those goals are. So I'll fill this in on a month-to-month basis. As you can see here, December's not filled in yet because at the time of recording this, December hasn't happened yet. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite goal spread I've ever done. I have a couple other ones I really like, but this is hands down my top pick. The third layout is my debt-free tracker, and actually this is another layout I've been using since quite early in my journaling journey. It has evolved a little bit, and I definitely have made it a little bit more colorful and decorative over the years, but the simple layout is still the same. So I always use some kind of a circle or a square to draw out the different boxes, and then I put how much the debt is at the top of the box. Then as we go through the year, I'll fill in where we're at with our debt-free goals. Obviously, for privacy purposes, this is not my actual debt tracker layout. This was one I created as an example, but still I hope it gives you an idea of how I use this. The fourth spread is my books I've read spread, and this is something I started doing probably the second year I was journaling, and it was in an attempt to get me to read more. I love reading books, but I'm really busy, and so sometimes I have a hard time making myself sit down and actually read. This layout has helped me actually implement and actually start reading my books. To create the layout, I just did the header along the top, and then I have a little rating system underneath. You can label these ratings whatever you like, but I have my first one as "it's not my cup of tea," and then it goes up from there. For the layout itself, I have it broken down into 3 columns. The first column is for the title of the book and the author. The second column is for the date, and the third column is for the rating. This next collection is something I started using last year, and it's something I had set up in an attempt to better manage my house, especially the tidiness of it. I often felt like when it came to my cleaning day on Saturday or Sunday, I spent so much time just decluttering, putting things back where they belong, wiping surfaces, just really simple stuff that I knew that I could take care of through the week with just some better time management skills. So I created this collection. I call it my 10-minute cleaning list, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Anytime I have 10 minutes in the day, I'll open this up, I'll pick a couple things that need to get done, and I'll smash those out. To create the layout, I have the header at the top, and then on the page itself, I have it broken down by room, and I have tasks underneath each room that I can do in about 10 minutes. Some of them can take even less, so I can stack them on top of each other. The next layout is my master grocery list. I am not the best at meal planning. I can do it, but I have a hard time following through. I'm one of those people that I like to eat in the moment. I like to see what I'm feeling like in the moment. And so I have found that having that master grocery list helps me a lot. I can make sure that I have all my staples in the house, and then I tend to repeat the same meals over and over again. And I will just make sure that I've gone through all the supplies before I do my next round of grocery shopping. Usually by like the 4th or 5th day, I'm having to just kind of throw together whatever I have, but I have found this system works much better for me than doing an actual structured meal plan. And so to create this layout, I just did the header at the top, and then I have broken down the list based on the different departments in the grocery store. So I have the bakery, the produce, the meat, and you get the idea, but then I'll list out everything that goes underneath. Before I head off to the grocery store, I will make sure that I don't already have some of those supplies. If I do, then I'll cross them off. But for the most part, I buy that stuff every time I go to the grocery store or as I'm running out of those supplies. The 7th spread is my recipes to try. And like I mentioned in the last little section, I'm not great at meal planning. It's not something I love to do because I like to cook in the moment. But one thing I do like to do is try new recipes once or twice a week. Then I can add them to my repertoire of typical dinners that I cook. And I use this layout. I write down a recipe when I find it. I write down where it is so that I can find it again in the future, and then I'll actually rate the recipes as I'm cooking them. So this is a really fun layout and something I started using this year. If you're trying to implement new recipes into your dinner cooking routine, I would highly recommend this layout. The 8th spread is my habit tracking spread. This is something I created actually earlier this year after I read the book Habit Stacking by S.J. Scott. If you struggle with your habits, I would highly recommend this book. But the whole premise is to stack your habits together into mini routines. And I wanted to create a layout for this in my journal to kind of add on to the habit tracking I was already doing. To set up this layout, I just did my header at the top, and then I do my days of the month along the top. So this spread, as you can see, it covers a whole 2 pages. Then down the left-hand side, I list out what my different habit stacks are. So I have the habits listed out, and then in between each stack, I've drawn a horizontal line all the way across both pages to break that up. Then as I go to fill in my habit tracker, I just go down on the day and then I check off which of the habits within each stack I actually completed. As you can see on this specific layout, I'm not aiming for perfection here. There were a lot of misses, but it definitely helps just to get me into a good routine and a good flow. The 9th spread I've chosen is my fitness tracker spread, and again, for just comfort, privacy reasons, this is not my actual 2021 fitness tracker, but rather the spread I created as an example. And I really love this because it helps me track the different aspects of my fitness goals. So along the top, I have my header, and then underneath, I've broken down my fitness goals into mini goals. So how I actually want to accomplish my overall fitness goals. Then below that, I have a chart that I use for measurements. So I have the 12 months of the year on there, and then I have the different areas that I would like to take measurements for. In my actual tracker, I do this every single month, usually on the 30th or the 1st. My husband will help me, we'll do my measurements, and I'll write everything down. And then on the second page, I have another chart box system that I use. There are 52 boxes in total, and so this is where each week I weigh myself, typically on Saturday or Sunday, just depends if I forget, but I'll weigh myself every weekend and then I'll write in the box what my weight is. And then I had a little space at the bottom, so I included a fun, motivating quote. But yeah, I highly recommend this layout if this is something you are struggling with, if you want to find a better way to track your fitness goals and your weight and how you're progressing, definitely recommend this spread. And the last collection I want to talk about is my affirmations collection. This is something I started earlier this year as I'm really trying to focus on my mental health more and my self-care more. And affirmations, I have found, actually are a lot more helpful than I thought they would be. I've really enjoyed actually going through these each and every day. So some months I will create this month spread where I'll pick out like 40 or 50 affirmations I really want to live by that month. And then in my daily logs, I will pull out my top 5 or 10 affirmations that I really want to focus on that day. Again, because I'm repeating these all throughout the month, I find they really stick and they just really boost my mood and help me kind of get through the tough times. So to do this, I've used both pages. I have a header at the top, and then I have a couple different affirmation types, and I just listed them out below. Again, this collection may not be for everybody. If you don't love affirmations, you could replace this with daily journal prompts or gratitude. It's just nice to have one full spread dedicated to your happiness and your mental health. Okay, and that is it for this video. I actually had a lot of fun going through all my journals and looking at the ones I've used the most, which ones have been my favorite, and I actually want to encourage you to do the same. So go through your old journals, see which ones you seem to use again and again, and post what they are below in the comments. And if you're brand new to journaling and you want to learn more about collections, I have a collections workbook available for free. I'll link it down below the video. It'll help you set what collections you need to plan the essential areas of your life and the collections you need to help you plan your goals. Again, that's free, so I'll just link it below the video. And that's it. I will see you back here next week. In the meantime, happy journaling. Bye for now.